The way I thought, ajna as anything we do which is not against the dharma can be an ajna. And that can be, whatever we do can be an offering to the devatas, and in return, the devatas will give us back.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other thoughts?
I thought the biggest example of yajna is like the sun that Adish he was talking about. You know how sun does the yajna. He takes the water from the oceans and then evaporates it, and the clouds then gives back completely. So it is like, that's how we should do. We should take from the environment, but we should give it back to. Otherwise, what we are consuming, it becomes like we are stena. We are doing a stealing from the nature and not giving back to it. And this was set up at the time of creation, like, that's how the creator set it up, in the sense like he made the yajna bhava, yajna, and the human beings, and even gods are going to follow this law. Even the devatas have to follow this law. For example, if we pray to devatas, they have to propitiate us. So, like we do yajna, propitiate the gods, and the gods in turn will propitiate us. So, this way the cycle of nature is maintained. And also the bhava, it changes when you say that you're doing a yajna or something. You don't look at it as an object or a work or something. It becomes some divinity is added to that. So, this bhava is very important for the conversion from doing just a dharmic work to karma yoga. You are
Mm.
including Ishvara, you're including the divinity that is there in the entire cosmos. So I think that attitude conversion is very important. And that yajna bhava change is just doing a chore or something that you would do, to a universality where you're offering everything to the Ishvara who is present everywhere.
The
Yeah.
sense
That's,
of offering, basically, doing everything with a sense of
yeah.
offering.
Yeah.
So that kind of a
One
part is,
more, yeah, thought. Okay, what my interpretation is, look, our life itself, if it is say food is what makes us finally, right? We have grown having food, and all this body is nothing but food. That itself has come because of
Yes.
yajna. Rain happened, then food, somebody grew the crops and all. So life itself is like a yajna. Because of yajna, we are there, right? So everything we do, it has to be a way of offering it back, right? Because we have got it from there, we have to return it. So every action itself can become divine. Action itself is like a divine thing. So in karma yoga, yes, offering to Ishvara is one thing that Guruji mentioned, but I think the action itself is also divine now. If we do it in that bhav, is what I understood from my own.
and also karma yoga, I think it is important to get the prasada bhava, like whatever we are getting, the results of it, accept it as a prasada. Like it just doesn't become a banana, it becomes a prasada, that divinity comes in that. So also, I mean, when you see karma yoga includes all these pancha mahayajnas that we talked about, and the Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and the Ishwar Prasada Buddhi. So all this including plus a dharmic act is going to help you do the antakarna shuddhi and eventually lead to moksha, which is the ultimate goal of Bhagavad Gita. It's a dharma shastra plus a moksha shastra. That's what we are trying to get the information from these shlokas, I feel.
Hmm. Yeah, anyone else also?
Uh, uh,
Yes.
Namashwaya. After going through these classes, every act, not all, most of the acts now, I see a divinity. So this prasada bhukti starts coming. Like, for example, it has been a habit that I touch the Karagre Vasde Lakshmi when I get up, and Samudra Vasane Devi, all that, like I see an effect also. Like I had a fall 2-3 times and nothing happened, like I just see that, it is reciprocated also.
Mm-hmm.
So more and more, you tend to do like that. So I see a lot of value.
What struck me is that, going even to a more basic level, the idea of prayers. When I was a little kid, when I pray, I'm always asking God to do something for me, right? Please help me pass the exam or whatever. And in this chapter 3, talking about prayer as an appreciation of
Yeah.
all our prasad, but also and then also the mindfulness of keeping Ishvara in our mind, because even like, you know, the sloka we say when we take a shower, sloka we say when we eat. So it's always, you know, when you say that sloka, it kind of you become more mindful of Ishvara. And that struck me today when we were reading this chapter, I mean, these verses, because I never thought about it before, you know, but, you know, what is prayers and why do we pray? Because I always thought that, you know, when I was little, I always thought that, oh, I'm praying, asking for stuff. That doesn't sound right. But basically, it is an appreciation of what you have. So that for me was good in today's. Yeah.
And you pointed it out correctly. Because
once we don't appreciate it in return, and then you are tend to be a thief. That is also he said.
Exactly. Yes.
So okay, one side is appreciation, and non-appreciation, then it is as good as that you are a thief. So that
Right.
realization is very important here.
Yeah, you take without paying.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
On my side, I would say so far as a summary from the second chapter onwards, where it started the Karma Yoga. So there are many factors came under encompassing several factors as part of Karma Yoga. So, I mean, long back, I was thinking only dharma is, when you do any karma with dharma, that's the Karma Yoga. But now there are many factors which have been included.
Yes.
Starting from samatvam yoga uchyate, for example, where samatvam is required, yogasha karmasha kaushalam, where the nischayatmaka buddhi and able to discriminate, and prasada buddhi later added, then added bhakti, which is Ishvara is part of karma yoga. So till now, all these factors are part of karma yoga. And like earlier mentioned, the ecology is very important. Like devatas who has been doing their dharma in giving all the requirements to the living beings, we also should be giving the ecology back to the nature in terms of providing everything to the other beings. So that is also part of dharma, which is karma yoga.
I actually thought that all the devatas are actually, in fact, doing yagna. They are giving you everything without asking anything back.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
Second thing is that the fact that if you look at all our shlokas, whether you look at Vishnu Sahasranamam or Lalita Sahasranamam or Saundarya Lahari, it is always an appreciation of the devata. It is never a prayer. You're not asking for anything. You're only appreciating the devata there.
Appreciating, right. Yeah.
Calling all their qualities and appreciating them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, this yajna is not something done on a specific day with a specific purpose.
Exactly.
The day starts the moment we wake up, consciously each moment we offer. You know, that is karma yoga. And because of that bhavana, antakarna shuddhi happens. So for primary requirement for antakarna shuddhi is we consciously offer every act of us since morning, conscious, that we should be very consciously offering and doing, not mechanically. Eating,
Yes. Being mindful.
doing
Yes.
service, everything. So that is what ultimately the pure consciousness, he said at one stage, the shifting, that is what the pure consciousness, from unconsciously, mechanically doing a thing, from that to shifting it to consciousness, and with the consciousness towards the ecology or nature, prakriti, whatever we call it. That is what it matters. And what Vijay said about this food and how the food and this thing affects, that comes in next sloka, Annat Bhavati Bhutani, how that cycle is. how the food makes and the food comes, food is yagya, and all this. There is a cycle in next sloka 14, it will talk about it. So we have to be very conscious towards, it is not, we cannot take everything granted. The nature has provided. So we should be involving Ishvara in every act consciously. That's what I think.
That recognition that we're part of a cycle, not by ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're connected.
It
There is
basically
a
talks
day.
about interdependency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Interdependence.
Nothing we can claim ownership on. Actually, if you really, there's nothing we can claim ownership, right? Everything just happening. It's one whole thing, interconnected thing, which is all working towards making things happen. And we take ownership of thinking we are doing this, we are doing that. This is mine, that is mine. Nothing can be claimed.
Actually, we owe nothing,
Yeah.
and everything owns us.
True.
That is it. We owe nothing, and everything owns us.
You're
Yeah.
a cog,
When
you're a
we
cog
come,
in the wheel.
Cog.
do we even do anything? When we come empty-handed. He already has made this nature, world, everything for us. You know, like what have we contributed? If you see, really, there is nothing that we have done.
We have only
Yeah, right.
continuously consuming.
Yeah.
Yoga, that's what we do, yoga.
We can do is show gratitude and appreciate. Gratitude is very important.
In today's class, when there is a mention of living beings and non-living beings, we are a conscious being with a free will. Any action what we do that could disturb the ecology of the divine forces, which are actually, like Narayananji said, that they are doing willingly service to the living beings on the earth. So we may disturb if we don't do our karma with the dharma and with the real action.
Oh, very beautiful thought.
Yeah.
And it is true because you know what? Every living being in this entire cosmos follows the cosmic law. It is only humans who break the law.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Today is the example. Today is the example.
Actually,
And we don't go along with the cosmos, which is
Since we have the choice of free will, we exercise. The other creatures, they are not programmed like that. Since we have the free will, free choice, see, the cow doesn't have a choice to eat a pizza or a idli. You know, we have a choice. We can select what to eat, what not to eat, what to do, what not to do. The cow doesn't have a choice to go to village or
somewhere there is.
So dharma should govern the free will, our free will. So dharma should govern our free will.
Yeah.
It is, that's why instead of doing it for wants, we have to do it for dharma, anything, because always that's the main tussle we have is we want to do things for our wants and needs. Needs is okay, I mean, you know, but mostly the clash comes when there is want versus dharma.
Correct. Yeah.
I think the fact that there's only an apparent or relative difference or division between the living and non-living things, I felt that was a beautiful thought that he brought out.
Yeah.
We tend to
That
completely...
dream example was very good, correct? We are
Yeah, dream is so apt.
That is very, very helpful. Like thinking of yourself as the creator as well as the created, right? You just translate that to the Jagrata Avastha, then you have the, you know, what we are looking for.
That's the Pratibhasika Satya in dream that you see, it is all, but at that time, it's so real. When you do but Vyavaharika Satya, when you come down to it, when you are in Jagrat state, you know that it is not. So Pratibhasika becomes Vyavaharika, but there is another reality apart from these two is the
state.
Paramarthika Satya, that is everything is Brahman.
Yeah.
Everything is Brahman. Even creation that we see is not true. It is apparent. So the what we see is all apparent. It is Brahman. Even the creation, universe, myself, Jiva, Jagat, and Brahman is all same.
Yeah. If only we can translate that simple thought, right? Because dream is something we can all relate to very easily. That we are the creator.
What is
we can
important?
translate that into the state.
Logic doesn't play a role in Shabda Pramana. Remember, it is the experience through which you take that as your stronghold and go from there, extrapolating from there. Because experience you can never deny. For example, like Jaykumarji once said, can you define what love is, but you experience it. And same thing with dream. You cannot say exactly what a dream is, but you experience it. And that is how creation happens. Like when we say, how did God create this world? It is like a dream, basically. He himself became the world. He himself became everything in this universe.
Yeah, actually, dream and deep sleep have a lot
Creation.
to tell us,
Yeah.
right? We don't really go to understand it, but both of them are.
Experience.
Vedanta is very important, Vijayji, because dream is taken as an example by even everybody. Like even if you look at Adi Shankaracharya's bhashams and everything that is described, dream, Jagrat state, all these three states, whether it is Jagrat, Swapna or Shushupti, all three are very important because this is something, and that is where Vedanta goes. This is what you experience, right? So you cannot deny it. Every one of us goes through all these states, whether we are educated or not. So you can relate it. Vedanta goes at that level where everybody experiences this.
And dream comes at many levels, actually, even to compare with the external world, that it is happening at in your own consciousness. Because one of the Dakshinamurti Sutra, the very first sutra, says very clearly the distinction between dream and the external world. So, I mean, the dream is in your own consciousness.
Vedanta is based on these, takes a lot of examples from dream, Jagrat, and Shushupti. Like if you look at most of the examples, because this is something we all go through. We all go through and we can relate to.
Yes.
Is there anyone who hasn't spoken, contributed, want to share something, please?
I can.
Yeah, Vaidyaji, please.
Yeah, so the word Kilpisha came in one of the shlokas today. Kilpisha, Kilpishaihi. So there, basically the Kilpisha is Raga Dvesha. So the Raga Dveshas are the ones, that act as impurities in our mind. Because what makes us do something, we should not be doing? It's a raga for something. Let's say, we are not supposed to earn money, through dishonest means, but we do that anyway. Why is that? That's because we have an attached raga for money, and our means are limited, and our raga is much more than that. That is one thing, right? So the raga dvesha. Similarly, dvesha, we want to do something which is supposed to be done, but we don't do it. Why we don't do it is because of dvesha. We don't want to work hard because there is some kind of dvesha towards working. So when we do action with an attitude of karma yoga, those raga dveshas, the binding raga dveshas go away. And that's why the kilpishas go away.
Very nice.
So I think he said kilbisha is anything that we don't want is a kilbisha, right?
You're right.
In the
That is
context.
one way of looking at it, but in the context of karma yoga, so it says that that those who follow this will be free of all kilbisha. So what is that free of it is? They'll be free of the hold of.
And anything you don't want also becomes dvesha, right? Dvesha is nothing but something that you don't want. So it can be included as kilbisha.
Correct.
I think.
By the way, I just want to, Bhavya, I thought that you did such a great job with the Sanskrit pronunciation of all the verses. You did a really good job.
Very nice.
Very impressive.
Learning
Nice.
for 3 years has helped.
I could see that you know what you were doing.
Seasoned.
Yeah. Very nice.
Anyone else who wants to say something before we wind?
Yeah, just
Okay.
yeah. Actually, like everybody has covered points. Even for me, the sacrifice part struck me a lot. Like when all the slokas. So there is a sloka, like there is a saying in Tamil, right? Like even if there is one dharmic person in a village, rain will definitely come in that village. So what it means is, yeah. So what it actually
What will come in that village?
Rain.
like rain, even though if there's one dharmic person, rain will come. So what I understood is like we are taking everything for granted. So maybe we are not, even though we are not dharmic, so we are experiencing all the good things, right?
Luxuries.
So we should not take everything as granted. That is one point. And so we have to first have a sacrifice. We have to be the gratitude, the sense of gratitude should be there, and we have to be thankful. And the examples are like the trees, the sun. So if you take a tree, it will give shade to everybody. So it doesn't discriminate. And even the sun, it doesn't discriminate. The rain doesn't discriminate. So that kind of attitude should be there even when we offer anything to anybody. We should not discriminate, and we should also have a gratitude thinking. And one more thing I read, like this is I read somewhere else actually, like if you take an example of a tree, so initially it's a fruit bearing, let's say it's a fruit bearing tree. So when it is not ripe, so that fruit will not come very easily. Like you have to apply force, and then late it will give out. So we are also in that stage. Let's say if I'm not mature enough, I will not be able to do any task or any help without any force. Somebody has to push me. But if I'm mature enough, that will come automatically. Like the fruit will fall down to the ground automatically. So that maturity we should develop, and we should do like help without asking. So that maturity we should learn from the ecology itself. Like that's what we have. I want to bring this point here.
Nice, nice.
They say like the cucumber falls away. Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukam iva bandhanan murtyor mukshe. Yeah, so it just falls away once it's ripe. You don't. So that's how it should be.
We'll have more sessions. So a lot of this wisdom knowledge we can share in subsequent sessions also if we exhaust everything now.
I just want to add one small thing. As Guruji said, we should be grateful to the nature for giving us food every day.
Yes.
Apart from that, one more thing is God has kept us eligible to eat it, even though there may be many things. Unless God keeps us healthy to consume it,
correct.
You may not be able to take that food even as prasadam. God has to give me strength, health, everything to consume that food. That is also equally important. We should be grateful to God for having kept us fit to eat that food.
I think Dr. Manjula wanted to talk, right? You didn't talk, Dr. Manjula.
Dr. Manjula ji wanted to speak something. Yeah, please.
Namaste. What I understood, the 5 points about yajna is do it as a karma, do it 100%, no expectation, selflessness, and dedicated to God. Those 5 things I just try to cultivate, inculcate with each and every action of mine. And as Raghavanji said, giving is so beautiful. It's so peace, so happy it is to give. So Mother Earth, somebody said, and the example of sun and the example of the tree. So we have to inculcate the habit. First, I have to identify myself as, okay, this is yajna, this is yajna. I have to keep on telling myself, yajna, yajna, yajna. So, and sharing is something wonderful. When we share, we grow together. That's what I thought.
It's important to have to share knowledge.
Yeah. So we will 35. From next time onwards, we'll maybe have that breakout room and individual. But yeah, we'll try to focus more on the shlokas that are covered that day, so that everyone gets a clear understanding of that. And then, okay, if time permits, you can discuss more about general, which was good. A lot of.
How long is it going to be, Vijayji, this breakout room?
10-15 minutes, I think, max, because people have time constraint. No,
in the morning for you guys, it becomes difficult too.
Yeah, people leaving for work and all. So there is a timer you have to set. So if we put 15 minutes, in 15 minutes, it will say meeting closing, bye-bye, and log you out automatically.
Yeah, there has to be a time maintaining person, because, being the first day, we are exuberant to talk many things.
Normally,
everybody's coming out.
Yeah, in the group.
It makes a big difference. Thank you, Vijayji. This is a wonderful idea. This brainstorming is required. And even though many do ask questions in the satsang, I think this level of our level is really good. Everybody talks and you're able to gather more.
Correct.
We have great stalwarts here who have
all
knowledge.
different levels, so each one can come with their own interpretation because we are in all different stages of evolution.
Yeah, very true.
Vijay,
there are some questions we hesitate to ask with Jay Kumarji, right? So
yeah, this is the right platform. You're right, Bhagyaji. Very right.
I think it's a good idea actually. Sometimes we probe onto certain questions posed by somebody and have ideas from other people. For example, I had actually, but I just want to mention now. Anyway, we are already 9:05. Between when it was told that when you pick up the plant out of the ground, which is considered as a sin, right? Now,
Yes.
Animals, they take it out. They are at low consciousness, no doubt, but then they are not bound by karma. But we, on the other hand, we say that we evolve from different stages, and now having a free will, when we do that, it is sin. See the difference. So, I mean, that needs to be analyzed, I think.
I think that's because of our kartrutva bhavam, right? They don't have that and we have that, right?
No, I think it is because, you know what, animals are programmed. They don't have any papam. For example, if an animal kills another animal, it is not a papa. It doesn't incur sin. But when we kill an animal, we incur sin because we have free will. So the results are different for them.
That's also because we have that.
Animal kills only when it is hungry. It will not kill when it is not hungry. A lion will be sitting there and the animal will pass by. It will not kill. It kills only when it is hungry. It is us. We hoard things. We kill for just fun. What I'm saying is adharmic actions do take place by human beings, but animals don't do adharma.
No, that is true. See, but my question is in a different way. Like, see, we evolve. How do I evolve from an animal who doesn't have katrutva bhava and no sin, right? So then from the animal, we come to different conscious levels and hence become a human being. So that has been told in our Shastra. So, I mean, if you consider that way, then they do not have any sin at all, right? But still we evolve into human being, and human being is the precious janma which one takes. So that's the difference I wanted to debate on, like how it can be answered.
We incur more sin because we do it.
Actually, for animals, what is said is animals exhaust their papas.
Yeah.
True, because they don't have punya or papa. They're just
correct.
doing karma that what they have to exhaust. They don't have punya or papa.
No, so they can't come as human if they keep evolving.
But they have to exhaust that karma in that animal phase, and then from the sanchita, their punya is taken, and then they will come out. So they have to exhaust that karma in that janma.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay, we'll meet up.
Vijay, 25th is Geeta Jayanti. Are we going to do something?
When is it?
Yeah, Jaykumar is thinking about it.
Okay,
December?
okay.
December 21st?
December 25th.
Wednesday, no?
25th.
We have Geeta Jayanti.
Yeah.
So now that we are learning Bhagavad Gita, we can do something, no? That's why I thought.
Yeah. Guruji will be planning something. Have a great day or great night wherever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you, Vijay.
Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha. Shubhamastu.